So my favorite day that we spent in Paris was the day that we spent at Versailles. It was absolutely splendid. I do recommend that if you go, you make a breakfast reservation at or the restaurant there in the palace, and for $50 a person, you get your breakfast, which will be 2 eggs, your sausage, your assortment of baked goods. You're going to get a hot drink or iced drink. I got a hot chocolate. My husband got a latte. You'll get your choice of a vegetable or fruit juice. We got orange juice. My husband said it's the best orange juice he's ever had. He loved it. Now, this also includes your ticket to the palace. So for $50, you get the breakfast and you get your ticket into the palace. And then they also escort you past the line and take you right into the palace when you're finished with your breakfast, which was a big deal because by the time we finished with our breakfast, the line was already pretty long. So we didn't have to stand in that line. That was really nice. We just went straight on into the palace, past everybody. Now, y'all, it is just so breathtakingly beautiful. Words, pictures, you just can't describe it. Versailles is one of those things that you just have to see in person. It's hard to believe that it started out as like the hunting pavilion for the royal family. And then, eventually it was the court and the government were moved there. And then it just kept getting embellished and embellished and embellished until the French Revolution. And, many people have said this. And once I've been there and seen it, you can kind of understand that, yes, I can see why the peasants revolted, because that is a vulgar amount of wealth on display there in that palace while people were starving. And, my husband and I would look at each other. We would leave one room and walk to the next room, and you would think, okay, at some point these rooms have to just, like, the grandeur has to start waning, but no, every room you just kept going, and it just was even more opulent than the last room. Every room was grand. Every room was just so ornate. The wood carving, the crown moldings, the wainscoting, the upholsteries, the gold, just everything. The Hall of Mirrors was amazing, and that used to be a terrace. And they tore it out and did the Hall of Mirrors, and it was stunning. It was so stunning. We spent a lot of time in there, and it was really busy in there, which obviously you can imagine that's one of the most, popular places there at Versailles is the Hall of Mirrors. And it was just beautiful. It was the ceiling, was amazing in the Hall of Mirrors, which, it was amazing. The ceilings were so beautifully decorated throughout the entire palace. Now, you don't just tour the Versailles Palace, you also have the gardens, which are pretty extensive. It was very cold when we were there. It was like 30 degrees and very windy, and actually snowed a day or two after we were there. And we were not going to walk because you can go back to the estate of Trianon and explore all of that in the Queen's Hamlet and all of the gardens that just go on and on for, seems like, miles. We weren't going to walk. It was too cold. So they have a train service that you can get, and it's not included in your ticket. It's like a $9 a person, I believe, and it's like a little train. It's like a tram train, if that makes sense. And they'll take you back to all the different places and pick you up, and, you just make sure you hang on to your ticket. And we went back to the estate of Trianon, and this is like a little pink palace. It's so cute. I say it's so cute. It's a beautiful palace. No, it's not quite as, large or extravagant as Versailles is, but it is still just beautiful and so, like, just, again, decadent. Just everything was so ornate. The fireplaces, the carvings, the furniture, everything. They said that this was actually purchased by, I think, Louis XIV in 1661, but the palace was not finished until like 1687, I think that's what they said. And then the Petite Palace, I think, was built in 1768. Louis XVI actually offered it to Marie Antoinette because she did not like to spend as much time up at Versailles. She liked to kind of be away from the court, I think, and she used the Petite Palace as like her private retreat, like where she could just go and relax and spend time with the family and her like ladies in waiting and stuff like that. So, um, so that was nice. It was back there. They said that the estate was abandoned, like pretty much, I think, for the whole 18th century. And then I think Napoleon the First moved in, took over it then. And then it's been a museum for a while. And then it's also been a presidential residence, like where the French government would receive like international and foreign guests. So, but it was also beautiful. It had beautiful gardens as well, and it had beautiful ornate gold work all outside, all on the railings. It was just something beautiful to see. All of the lakes and fountains and ponds and stuff, none of the fountains were running because all of them were frozen, and all of the like sculptures and stuff had covers on them because it was so cold and everything was frozen. But it was so beautiful. I'm so glad we got to experience this. And if you're ever in Paris, I highly recommend that you go and you spend a day at Versailles. I appreciate you watching my video. If you can, give me a like, a comment, a subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks.